live.
Hope so. Jen Kane Percy's just checking. Is that correct? We're good to go? Okay. All right. I'm getting the signal from Jen that we're good to go. So thank you. Welcome members of our Clearview Economic Development Advisory Committee. This is our meeting for March the 1st, 2022. And I know we have most of our members here present. We have a few members that are not able to join us, including our staff member, John Ferguson, who did send his regrets, but he is going to join us as soon as he possibly can. He's tied up at this moment, but he said he'd join us a little bit later. But we do have a guest who's going to make a presentation for us today, Mara Burton. Welcome aboard, Mara. So we'll just get on with our agenda. So we'll see if there's any declarations of disqualifying interest or general nature thereof. Anybody got anything that they'd like to disqualify? I don't think we do. If anything comes up, bring it forward. So at this point, we'll do the approval of the minutes from February. Approval of our agenda. We have a recommendation to approve the agenda for the Economic Development Advisory Committee dated March the 1st, 2022 as presented. Somebody like to move that? That'd be the mayor, the deputy mayor, and Mr. Roskar. Any questions on the agenda? All those in favor? Agenda carries. Thank you very much, folks. Minutes. There were some minutes from February 1st. So we have those minutes. Recommendation be it resolved, Economic Development Committee Advisory Committee approved the minutes dated February 1st, 2022 as presented. Can I have a mover and seconder on the minutes? That'd be Kelly and Bill. Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Okay, that carries. Thank you very much. So at this time, we want to have a quick talk about the Community Improvement Program, the CIP program. And Kelly Kramer, I think you brought a question forward to our recording secretary. Did you want to make a comment about what your questions are about that first, Kelly? And then we'll go right to what Mara has to say about the program we have in place here in Clearview. Kelly.
Okay. So one of the things that was brought to me, and I can't even remember who it was so long ago, but I've talked to a couple of businesses on the main street about it since. And the idea is to put LED lighting around the windows for all the main street stores. And I know where it came from. It came from the video of the fellow that's always talking about how to improve your downtown. He did a whole section on that, and that's where it came from. I've spoken to a few business owners on the main street, and they actually came back with some even better ideas of why it's a good idea. One, it lights up the main street a little better, so people feel a little bit more secure walking on it. It creates a better security for the stores, so if it's well lit, less chance of getting broken into. And people tend to drive through town a little slower at night because there's not so much traffic, and they have more chance of seeing what's in their windows to see what's on sale, more chance that they'll come back to spend money in Stainer or Creemore or whatever the towns want to do it. So my idea was that maybe if we could somehow do a grant, the stores could do LED lighting, so it's cost effective. I'm suggesting they put it on a timer so they go off at 11 o'clock. That way, if there are, people living above the stores, there's no light pollution to keep them from sleeping, that sort of thing. But I think for very little money, the Main Street businesses could get a lot of value out of it.
Right. All right. So Kelly, that's sort of the message that I received as well. And I took that to our CIO, John, and I asked John, I said, we have the Community Improvement Plan, which is an investment plan that has been set up many years ago. It's actually been in place prior to this committee really establishing. And Mara Burton is our staff person who her and her department look after it. So I thought it kind of tied together the question about how the CIP program could help meet that request. And maybe Mara could give us an outline on what the CIP program does and what it doesn't do, and how this suggestion from Kelly about creating a cooperative effort between multiple owners in the downtown core might be something we can add or look at. So Mara, how about we go right to you, and you can tell us a little bit about the CIP and how it works.
All right, thank you very much, and thanks for having me. Anytime you need me to come, just let me know. I'm happy to come to your committee. Okay, so I'm going to take you through a presentation that is on our website. but I need to actually have the host allow me to do screen
Okay,
share.
Jen, can you handle that for us?
All right. Let me know, Jen. Good?
Are you good?
Not yet.
Okay, now try. Sorry.
No. Oh, there we go. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the presentation that is on our website, and there's a lot of resources on our website, which I'll show you after I take you through the presentation. So basically, let me just get going here. So I think any of you who obviously have been going to some of Roger Brooks's presentations on downtowns and things like that, which might have been what Kelly was alluding to earlier, that facade improvements are really important because they're the first impression to attract customers. They're the physical heart of the community. They reflect the entire community. And attractive facades and window displays gives the impression of more walkable streetscapes, reduce vandalism and crime. So we do have funding opportunities of up to $5,000 for the front facade. You can do also an additional $2,500 for a side or rear facade to a maximum of $7,500. We also have some bonus funding right now that's been given to us by the province and by the county of Simcoe to do signage and associated lighting, and we can fund up to 80% of that. It's up to 50% of the other improvements, facade improvements, and it's for signage and lighting, it's up to 80%. So you can get an improvement worth $12,000. The project, oh, I already told you who the project's funded by. So we do encourage traditional facades, but these are in our downtowns because they're quite heritage in nature. However, there are other features too, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do this. But just want to take you through what is an element of a facade. So we have a building cornice, and often these have been removed from buildings and they really are nice to add back onto a building. Also, there is a storefront cornice that's above the actual storefront itself. This would be your upper facade. This is your entrance feature. Typically, these are recessed historically, so people can kind of get out of the rain and whatnot, but they're not always recessed anymore. This also with the recessed entrance, the window is usually clear. There may be clear windows around it, around the door transom, and then clear display windows. And if it's recessed, you get more display area. So perhaps that's one of the reasons why so many storefronts historically did that. And then there's also base panels down here that give it a nice foundation. So to improve storefront entries, keep your storefront windows with large sheets of clear glass to allow view into the retail space. You want to keep and replace your transom windows. This is a good example. This picture is quite old now, but I still love this picture for this because it's great at showing the clear, this was a Ferris Cafe, the clear doors going in. You can see the recess, you can see the transom windows, the display windows, the storefront cornice. This is the sign band that they have here. They also have a projecting sign here, which is really nicely done as well. So the other thing that I really love about this is that if you're driving down the street, this says cafe. If it said something like the Pink Poodle, you wouldn't know, is that a pet shop? Is that a bakery? Is that like a retail store? Just what is that? So if you're going to do a projecting sign, I definitely encourage people to actually, instead of necessarily using the name of the business, use what it is. You know, is it a bakery? Is it a cafe? What is it? And then of course, they've got some nice welcoming things here as well. That you can also see, there's some base panels here also. So avoid using solid doors, avoid excess signage and clutter, and obviously respect the sizing of the historic building entrances. Sometimes people have to save money, they've made window spaces quite a bit smaller than they were, and that actually isn't necessarily a good idea. So build on classic features. You can see Chez Michel's done a nice projecting sign here. They're using a modern take on a classic awning, which is really quite beautiful as well. And then we've got some seating on the street also. So there's a lot in these pictures that really give inspiration to people. Okay. And then again, Barb's Clothes Closet, similar sort of thing. They're using gooseneck lighting. They're using a modern take on a classic awning, and then they've put the signage on the awning. And then they've got quite a lot of display windows here. And of course, they have 3 storefronts here. And you can also see that the building has a cornice, a building cornice. Now, some of these building cornices, they make modern materials now, and you would never know. You can add them. It doesn't have to be the actual brick original cornice, which this is, which is really nice. And you can also see that they have the storefront cornices also. So this is some elements that are being encouraged. So the gooseneck lighting, we do have a lot of different kinds of lighting as well, but gooseneck lighting, you can see the really nice quality of the signage in both of these cases. They're 3-dimensional. A lot of these are, again, made out of modern materials. Sometimes they're out of wood, but they also are often made out of more modern materials. Nice big display windows, transom windows. This door isn't fully clear, but they've got a lot. It's a very attractive door, and they've got a lot of display that you can see. Again, modern take here. You can see on the awning, you can see the storefront cornice. I really like this one because it's kind of neat because they used a wheel for their projecting sign. So they didn't even use a word. And that's another thing that, or like words, that's another thing you can do as well, is you could actually do shapes. So if if you are a bakery, you could do a cupcake, for instance, to kind of give, real, picture says 1,000 words sort of thing. What we are discouraging is backlit lighting, big fluorescent colors and big lighting, like big, sort of hit you over the head. Then that's what they sell as you're going along. And also this kind of lighting here where it's just exposed light bulbs. And apologize for the picture. I know this is kind of an industrial application. It's not the greatest picture, but sometimes it's hard to find good pictures to use in these presentations. Now, I can segue that to say that if we do, for our industrial buildings and for our buildings on our gateways into the communities, we also provide facade improvement and also landscaping and entrance feature improvements to these as well. So we don't just provide grants for facades, we also provide grants for landscaping and also for signage. If the signage isn't even necessarily on the building, it could be a freestanding sign. This is some other examples that should be discouraged. So these sort of bubble awnings, and this one is a particularly sort of offensive one because it doesn't even fit the building. So it kind of looks funny. And then also all of these advertisements, they really don't do anything for anyone because you can't possibly read all of that, and people don't read them anyway. So we don't want that kind of clutter. Here's some signs that are being encouraged. This is, again, a kind of sign, and you can see they have a bit of a cornice. They've made an attempt at some transom windows, which actually is probably just some molding over top of the big windows, but it still is effective. You can see the real transom windows here, the real recessed. And then in this case, they've actually done signage right on the window, which is very attractive, and we also allow that. And then again, here's your modern take on the awning and your gooseneck lighting. Other signs that are being encouraged, you can see here, this is just individual letters that are put on the sign band area. This is another example with a traditional awning. And then this is a really nice projecting sign that you can see. They've also really beefed up the fact that this is a cafe. And then they've added some extra words here, which, if you're driving down the street, you would only see cafe. But if you were walking down the street, you would also see these other things that they have to offer. So for lighting, it doesn't always have to be gooseneck lighting. We do like to see some variety. So this is like a halo lighting or a halo type lighting where the lighting is behind the solid letters that are individually cut. And then this one is a simple, I don't even know what, tube lighting. It's a simple tube lighting that's sort of hidden, and it will light up this sign here, which again is really nice because it's got these raised letters. So these are some inspirational drawings that we did. We hired Peter Archer Architect to do these for us. So what he does is he takes the line drawing of the building. So this is the convenience store at the corner of not Perry Street. Oh, what street is it? I've forgotten the name. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Perry. Perry
It's
and
Perry, okay.
King. Yeah,
Perry and
26.
Highway 26. And so you can see, so you can see this is the line drawing. And then what he's done here is he's added some awnings, some gooseneck lighting, a traditional sign above, and then here a traditional sign. And then he's changed these windows to add some cornices above these transom windows, some display windows, and then some base panels. And you can just see how much nicer this looks. Here is Home Hardware. If they were able to remove some of this. Now, I certainly appreciate that the brick underneath some of these buildings may be deteriorating, and I know that's a lot of reason why people often cover the brick. We do also fund for point replacement, like repointing of brick. So, you know, it could look perhaps something like this down the road, where you've got your gooseneck lighting added in some. They actually have their gooseneck lighting. It's actually quite nice, and and also they've got the storefront cornice here as well. So it's just, you've lost the building cornice at the top here, but you can still see that they've done a lot of traditional elements here, which is quite nice. The Stedmans, which is no longer Stedmans, but a before and then an after. So if we were to take away the blue tile and reinstall some more traditional looks. This is some inspiration from Township when I used to work there. We also had Peter Archer do some of our buildings there. And in this case, what they've done is changed this building into sort of two storefronts and then just hidden the roof line in behind the new storefronts. So you can see there's a lot of the similar elements. Same idea here, just taking a regular building and turning it into storefronts. And the nice thing about these kinds of traditional looks is that they never go out of style. So that's a nice investment. One of our convenience stores that we have in Victoria Harbor, well, when I was with Tay, and again, just you can see some different applications. Some different applications here again. And then a little restaurant, just kind of making it look a little bit more tradition. And again, putting a front on the building. You wouldn't even notice this behind the front of the building would actually kind of pick up on that. Remove the bubble awnings and in favor of, this is sort of the same signage that you saw earlier where they had the signage in the window. So our application minimum is $500. And the reason for that is that we want to make sure that we're not spending, because there's quite a lot of staff time that we spend in these things working with people. We definitely like to hear from people. We will work with people and help them through it. But we do look for at least $500 so that it's something that's worthwhile. They need to include two detailed quotes for each item of work. We so often get applications in where the person who's quoting it are putting everything in the quote, and then they give us a bottom line. The problem with that is that if we can only fund one or two of those items, then they have to go back and requote, and then we lose a lot of time for the applicant. So if they can give us each of the items separately, that really helps. And that way we can keep the process going. So, I'll just keep going here. Yeah. So for further information, of course, you can contact me at mburton@clearview.ca. And my phone number is 705-428-6230, and I'm extension 264. So really happy. I just want to show you something else here. I'm just going to stop share for a second because I have to escape out of that, baby. I wanted to show you where to find this on our website. So I'm going to share again. So here's the website. If you just go into the search bar and you type in community improvement plan, it will take you, it'll bring up the first one, it'll bring up and say community improvement plan. You click on this and it gives you a bit of an idea here. There is no intake time anymore. When we were receiving a lot of applications, we put deadlines in place so that because it was a competitive process, but we haven't received a ton of applications that's an issue anymore. So basically, as people have their application ready, they can go ahead and file and we will start working on it right away. So you can find the actual application here. We tried to keep our application as simple as possible. You can find our facade guidelines here. That presentation that you just saw is right here. The staff report to council, which goes back probably 5 years now.
At least, yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be 5 years old.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's too interested in that. Our flyer is here and it gives a little bit more inspiration. So I'll just pull that up. Kind of gives you just a down and dirty as to what we allow. And there's that one. And just go, oops. I probably didn't mean to do that. Hold on a second.
Anyway, well, that's great, Mara. Do you have one more thing you want to show? Okay.
I'm pretty much there. Just wanted to let you know that we do have a quick guide, CIP quick guide. We have some signage and lighting examples here, and then the whole plan is here.
Right.
And I thought I could maybe help with Kelly's question about the lighting in the windows. So, you know, we have been working with our downtowns to do Christmas decorations and things like that, like winter decorations and banners and
banner work,
furniture and that sort of thing. And we've done that outside of the CIP. And I think if the chamber is looking to do something that is in all the windows, it might be something that could be done funding through outside of the CIP.
Okay.
It's just a thought. It could come out of the same fund in that we have money for it, but it's probably better done outside of it, just as instead of every person making an application for it, it's probably better just to come forward with one proposal for council to fund it out of the economic development fund that we have that funds CIP as well. So I think just that'll be a faster way.
So Kelly, thank you, Mara. Has anybody got any questions for Mara before I go right to Kelly? Anybody got any? Because the CIP program, your report goes back about 5 years, and we have had some significant successes with it. There's been several businesses take advantage of it. And just to be clear, it's not just for the downtown cores in Clearview Township. It's for any commercial properties in Clearview Township. And we have a few that are, let's call them in the rural areas of the township. So those do qualify as well if they wish to apply. So they'll be considered as part of the application. So anyway, that's another little tidbit. I know we discussed that at the initial stages, and I'm glad that it's well clarified. Bill, did you want to say something?
Sorry, I don't think I mentioned that, but thank you very much, Your Worship, for mentioning that it is the whole township.
Right. It's not just our downtowns. Go ahead, Bill.
Is it an ongoing program, or is there going to start to finish? Is it you got to apply at a certain time, or?
Meryl?
It is an ongoing program. So initially we had a sort of a first intake so that we could be, because of the competitiveness, but now it's just, you can file at any time and we will work on your application and take it forward and work with you and take it forward to council.
Okay.
Yeah, and one other thing additional to that, we'll get to you, Kelly, and that is that it's funded every year through the annual budget process. So council continues to invest in it. And so monies that are remain in a reserve fund for future work if necessary. So, you know, if we have a year like, for instance, last year, there wasn't a whole lot of applications, given that people were pretty tough with the COVID restrictions and so on, that work didn't happen. There is a reserve fund available that can be accessed for the CIP program specific. So we're in good shape there. Kelly,
Yes.
so here's what I'm wondering is that whether, we can brainstorm with this group and come up with a way to, help you meet this objective that you're thinking, where you're going to need your various business owners or storefront owners to sort of sign on that they want to do it, then create an actual value to the program, which then you can bring back to us and we can find a way to fund it. As Mara points out, we have funds in the Economic Development Committee that we can ask council to support. And you've got 2 members of council here that can lead that charge when we take it to council. But we also can then draw upon Mara's experience with some of the lighting things that she's done. As you know, the Christmas decorations were led by her and her team. And so it's something to think about. So Kelly, what's your thought?
Okay, so one of the things that did come up in my conversations with some of the local businesses is they don't own the building. So, and a lot of times they can't get the landlord to make those additions. By doing the lighting, it's very inexpensive, but like they're all hurting still. There's still a lot, who even knows if we're going to go into another lockdown? Everybody's like hurting so badly. So the idea is, and my mission since I've started on the chamber is boots on the door. So anything we can do to get boots in the door for our businesses, and if a little bit of lighting and a timer isn't a lot of expense, but it's too much to go through a whole CIP. Like they probably wouldn't even spend $500. So my idea is let's look at, LED lighting, put it in with a timer. Some of them might need a little bit of electrical work to have a plug at the front window, but I don't see it even being $500. So I couldn't see them putting that much effort to try and do it go through the whole process, let's say. So my idea was, can we make it easier? We do a program, explain how, what we need for the signage and that, so that we keep the town happy with our signage, but basically LED lighting on the inside of the window with a timer so that it lights up at night. So it's not a lot of cost, but it would be huge for town, for the businesses.
Yeah. Mara, you got any comment on that right away? And I'll go to Barry. Go ahead, Mara.
Yeah, thank you. I have seen this and it is really beautiful. And the LED lights right now, we do know where you can get the sort of the rope LED lighting. We do have suppliers that we use for stuff like that. And also you can get it where you can program it to different colors. So, if you were going to do something special for, Valentine's Day or something, everybody could have red on, or, if you were doing Clearview days, everybody could be blue or green or something like that, or blue and green, whatever. But so I think it's a fantastic idea. My suggestion would be basically to, work with the town, get the chamber owners and the people and the business owners involved to, basically measure their windows, find out what they need, get it all together, and then and then we can maybe help put them in touch, the chamber in touch, maybe with the couple of different suppliers that we have, so they could get a quote, and then they could bring that forward to council and go from there.
Okay, so it'd be more like a bulk purchase. If I could say, like, get Troy from the bookstore and, Barb's or whatever, I get it as a bulk purchase and we'd go from there, that sort of thing. Okay.
That would be a great idea. Now, if I can, I'd like to go to Deputy Mayor Burton. And so I'll ask Deputy Mayor Burton to take off his deputy mayor's hat and speak to us as a operator of a lighting company who knows a little bit about lighting, perhaps a lot more than anybody else on the screen right now. Barry, what's your comment on this?
I was going to say that if you're going to do this, I wouldn't be going out and buying retail household LED. If you're going to do it, buy commercial grade LED. That's the world I live in. I do museums and art galleries and everything all over the world. So lots of, right now I do all the Starbucks across Canada for all their, I don't do their base building, but I do all their specialty lighting. So that would be my suggestion. If we knew exactly quantities and stuff like that and layouts of store, I have the ability to get it supplied at wholesale prices. So direct from the manufacturer. And I know that the township is buying from a reputable distributor and stuff like that, but I could arrange to have it done if that was something that they were interested in. But definitely go to the commercial grade. Do not go, retail stuff. I don't want to pick on stores, but stuff you see in Canadian Tire or something like that, and it's like that's a residential application. You stick it around your deck and stuff like that, but it doesn't have a long lamp life, so you don't want something you're going to be replacing. And so make sure you go, so that would be a good idea is probably get somebody to get you some quotes on some commercial grade product with warranties as well. So
Right.
Yeah,
So,
Kelly.
Barry, for that, would the industrial have to be hardwired in, or would it be a plug? And would there be timers available to go work with them?
Well, you can put timers on anything. They can be hardwired. What you realize is LEDs typically are low voltage. They're typically 24 volts DC. Mm-hmm. And you talk about the ribbon light that Mara was talking about, and it comes in indoor, outdoor applications, comes in sealed. I mean, you can go to any extreme that you want. You can have it put into metal extrusions if you want to. I mean, I deal with and spec with stuff that runs anywhere from $10 a foot to $150 a foot. So you can go to whatever extreme you want. But I would say, be prepared to be spending around between $8 and $10 a linear foot. So you're going to be paying, don't be afraid of the $500 mark, like be prepared to spend a little more money. So back, I lost track of your question now. Could you repeat the question?
I'm trying to think of how to make it as easy as possible for the business.
Okay, so you're asking about power supplies, yeah. So what you realize is this all has power supplies. Okay, there is 120-volt product out there, but again, you're going to pay more money for it that you can just plug in, and that's it. If you don't want a low, but you're going to pay more money because it's more of an outdoor product. It's in a it's in a 1/2 inch by 3/8 inch square tube type thing. And it's flexible and you can put it all around. And so it's really a matter of deciding what you want. But if you go to if you go in ribbon light, I'm going to say, quote, ribbon light, you're into a low voltage system. Your power supply, you require a power supply for every 20 feet. Okay, so every 20 feet, you're going to have another power supply, which can be hardwire or a plug put on it. So, and then you just put a timer between the plug and the, between the power supply and your plug-in source or your hardwire source. So,
okay, I may reach out to you, Barry, to get some more information. So when
and that's fine. I'd be happy to meet with you sometime and come up and walk around the stores and do whatever. Yeah. So, okay. That's
good. That's good. I would suggest one other thing, just sort of wrap this topic up, Kelly. You could also reach out to Mara. Mara, as you know, did quite a lot of research into the holiday lights that were purchased, as well as the stuff that's on the poles and so on. So she has a pretty extensive file on information about these suppliers. So you could do a combination of working with Barry to source out the actual cost, whereas you could also find people who could perhaps do some of the work of installing it and making it safe and secure and making it a valuable install. So yeah, it's a combination of work. I think I would suggest it needs to get done. Here's the thing. I really believe it's a great program. You've come up with a great suggestion. So once we have a little bit more firm information that we can take to council with an actual dollar value for them to have a motion, right. I encourage you to bring it back to this committee anytime. The challenge there is I don't think we can do anything right now, because as Barry said, it could be $1 a foot or $150 a foot. Don't know. We can't work with that kind of wide number. So
So is it better, I'm trying to figure out how to present this the best way. So am I best to like literally walk the streets and talk to each one and see if they're willing to do the paperwork to get the submission in, and then I'll bring you a bunch of like 50 that are willing or want to do it?
I would suggest one more thing. You could work with Mara. Mara could perhaps help you with a letter that would indicate that this would be something that the chamber wants to do. And maybe Mara could help you put together some wording to indicate that, you know, you're doing this as voluntarily as part of the chamber, and that you know, the town is interested in supporting it, but we want to make sure that you would agree to have it.
Right.
Yes.
And so it's yes, Barry.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Your Worship. So, yeah, you want to do it as a bulk presentation. So you want to say, okay, we've got 10 out of the 15 stores are willing to do this. You know, Mara would likely prepare either would help you or assist you prepare a presentation to council as the chair of the Clearview Chamber of Commerce. You do a presentation to council requesting X amount of dollars. It's going to cost this much money with, you know, proper quotes attached to that. And then council can decide whether they want to support it and not. And of course, us on the Economic Development Committee are going to certainly push to help put that through. I would like to think the mayor and I have a little bit of influence on our council. We hope that, but we're still only 2 votes.
I did find it came from Destination Development Association. The fellow, he's always doing presentations on how to improve your downtown.
Yes.
So it was one of his videos that he did, and I think it is on YouTube if you search that out. There's a whole thing on how to, the lighting, how it helps.
Yeah. I've seen.
Okay.
I've seen that presentation, and yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So good luck. I encourage you to take that back to your fellow members of your chamber. And I tell you what I'm going to do on your behalf is I'm going to make a phone call to the BIA and have a similar conversation with them, because I know that the BIA in Creemore have had several discussions with us here at Clearview over the years about street lighting, and they run into a challenge there because the poles are associated with EPCOR, the electrical company, and they're not owned by the town, right? I mean, we're very fortunate, I guess, in Stayner, because the lighting fixtures are owned by the municipality, so we own them. So this may be one of the things that may be of interest to them as well. So
Excellent.
I think you need to have sort of a good discussion outside of this committee and see if we can pull that together.
Okay.
Good program, Kelly. Thanks for chipping in there. Anybody else with any questions about the lighting opportunity? And anybody else with anything for Mara in regards to the whole CIP program, which, by the way, is a very exciting program. And if you guys know of any business that could do with an improvement, this is something that they should investigate. Okay. Well, I want to thank you, Mara, for joining us and leading off this discussion and being a resource for us, both at the committee and at the township. So thank you for all your help. You're welcome to hang out with us if you want, or you can take off if you need to. We got a couple more things on the agenda.
All right, I'm going to let you add it. But
okay then.
But just text me if you need me to come back to the meeting.
No problem, Mara. Anybody?
Right.
Okay, thank you, Mara,
Thanks,
for joining
Mara.
us today.
Bye.
Bye. That was great. No, it's good. It's good to get a little bit of a refresher on the CIP program for sure. So thank you for Mara joining us. All right, committee. Let's see here. Item number 7 is our business arising from the minutes. Thank you to Jen Kane Percy, who reminded me that we do have a little bit of feedback needed from this committee. If you guys want to write an email to Jen of any comments about economic development and economic development work. The purpose for that is that John Ferguson, our CAO, who's not with us yet, but he said he was going to join us, is going to be hosting a meeting with the senior management group to have a discussion about, frankly, all things Clearview. And he wants to discuss economic development and actually bring up the discussion about the whole hotel survey that we're moving towards, that whole business. So Jen Kane Percy, just looking to you since John's not here. That's pretty well wraps what John was talking about, right? Was there anything else I missed there?
Yeah, no, you nailed it. That's perfect.
Okay, so for the committee members, if you have any comments about sort of aspirations for what the Economic Development Committee could do with the senior management team, send an email to Jen. She'll make sure that it gets included in John's information package for that meeting that he's going to be hosting. That's not for this committee, by the way. That's just the senior management team as they prepare their strategic plans that are going to go on for their, that they're going to be presenting to council. So it's another way to help bring information forward. All right. Any questions? Okay. Financial report. I do have a brief report. I talked to Kelly, our treasurer. She confirmed with me that there were no expenses from this committee in the last 2 months. There is still funding available. She did caution me that there is part of the funding that we deliver each year as part of the tourism maps and the tourism brochures. Some of that comes from EDC money that's already been earmarked. She didn't know what it would be or how much it is because she knows that Amanda, who works on tourism projects, is still working on that. So that hasn't been revealed to her or us yet. So we'll know in the future where that stands when it comes to finances. So that's all the information I have on finances at this time. All right. So item 9 is our new business section, which is a full collection of items that have popped into our emails here at the township. Jen Kane Percy keeps track of a lot of these and puts them in. So we've got a couple in here. We've got the Red Tape Reduction Act, which came from the province of Ontario. There's a link on your agenda if you want to take a look at that. It's an initiative coming from the province again to attempt red tape reduction. It's funny, red tape reduction is all about like filling in an application form. It's not a red tape. Anyway, so red tape reduction. So that's an interesting one. Another one is the Simcoe County initiatives. As you know, Barry and I sit on county council and work with our county councilors to deliver programs for the county of Simcoe. Barry is also a member of the Economic Development Committee for the county and represents us as well as all of us on the county. So Barry, if you got a minute, you could just outline some of the things. I know the event calendar's got a lot of items coming up, and maybe you want to speak about that.
Yeah, so the event calendar has it is what it is. It's an event calendar, and it's listing all the events that are happening throughout the county of Simcoe. But the Economic Development Committee for county has put together a work plan, and I've made some notes that I just thought I would share with you, and I'll try to be fairly brief about it. But so the economic work plan for 2022 is broken down to 5 focus points. The first one being investment attraction. So that means trying to attract investment for businesses into the area. Number 2 is talent attraction and retention, is attracting talent and keeping them here, not they come here and leave again. Business retention and expansion be number 3. And number 4, economic development ecosystem leadership and collaboration is number 4. And then infrastructure advocacy support. So those are the 5 main things. This has been approved now by county council, has approved the work plan. This is the direction the work plan is going. And then they also approved the tourism work plan for 2022, which is it's product experience development and development of outdoor recreation. Cycle Simcoe is the other thing that's coming up with, especially with the 25th anniversary of the mountain bike championships at Hardwood Ski, and it's coming up.
That's right.
They're doing the trail signage now. They're putting up trail signage in some of the Simcoe County forests for the trails to help them. The mountain bikers who want to go through the trails and that through the forest, and the promotion to make of all the mountain bike facilities in Horseshoe Resort, Hardwood, and all of them that are here within Simcoe County. And then there's the Simcoe motorcycle ride route. So they've prepared a route for motorcycles, and Creamore and Clearview is certainly part of that. Paddle Simcoe, there's another initiative they're working towards. Fish Simcoe County. Golf, they're doing all the present promoting, come to Simcoe County to do golf. And your worship, you know better than me. How many golf courses do we have in Clearview?
We have 3 that are very active.
Right.
One that is a exclusive, as in club membership only.
Right.
But we have 3 that are very active golf courses. So it's yeah, golf is a big business.
Big thing. So and the counties recognize, and they're spending money to do that. And the other thing they had is the Trail Simcoe County. So they're promoting all the trail system. And as you know, we've just had additional funds given to Clearview to do the trail from, correct me if I'm wrong, Your Worship, from Stainer to Newlow.
That's correct. Yeah, they're spending more money on that trail. Yeah.
On that trail, and that's coming up. So that's a quick synopsis of what's going on. If you want detail of any of these programs, I'd be happy to forward it to you, or you can look it up in the agenda of the Economic Development Committee agenda that was held just last week. It's all very detailed into each section and how they're going through to do it. So, yeah. But that's a quick synopsis.
Thanks, Barry. Any questions to Barry on that so far? All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Barry, and thank you for representing us there. It's there's a lot of stuff goes on across our county that we don't even know about until you hear about the cool things that are happening. People are hearing about cool things happening here too. I wanted to add a couple items that are not on the new business agenda, but things that have just come up as of last night and this morning. So the first one is our Small Hall Festival. We're in the initial stages of evolving the Small Hall Festival to be more than just a weekend. We're looking at taking the 6 or 9 facilities and offering them the opportunity to host a weekend through the summer months, to have the Small Hall Festival run as a longer period of time, so that each hall can have a weekend where an event happens. That would need to be based on food and entertainment. So Amanda met with members and representatives of all the small halls, all of our volunteer groups, just last night. And so they're having that discussion. It was already discussed at our budget discussions at council. When council met as a budget committee, that was discussed as an opportunity. And so the staff are taking that to the volunteers. The volunteers are giving some feedback as to what they may or may not want to do. So it's an opportunity to sort of evolve the Small Hall Festival. I mean, it's the halls themselves are going to be looking at some transitioning themselves. So they're going to be facing some renovations. It's very highly likely at council meeting coming up, council will receive a report about the actual costs of renovating these halls. And so we're going to come to that decision sooner than later. And as a result, the timing of holding a festival may be problematic for some of these halls, because to be honest, they could be completely closed in full renovation and not be able to do it. So the idea is to move this to a wider window of opportunity for the festival to be held. More news to come on that. I think it's an economic development success story. I think that it does bring people to our community, and it also celebrates our community to recognize our agricultural heritage. So those are some possible really good things there. Other things to keep in mind, though, about events coming up to the township. I did learn that June 18th has been penciled for a big concert happening at the new farm. So June 18th. And then, Bill, I hear July 16th is coming for the Cider and Sausage Festival. Bill, is that correct?
Yeah, we're well underway. It's going to happen.
Good. So that's great.
Don't shut us down again.
Good to hear. So July 16th, that's going to be on my calendar. I'll look forward to hearing more about that, Bill, as we get closer to that. The Copper Kettle Festival from Creemore Springs apparently is coming back. I need to get that confirmed, but I have August the 13th as a possible date for that. So that's positive. And then later on in the summer, right near the end of the summer, actually, the Edenvale Gathering of the Classics is coming back again on August 27th. So those are some things that have already been put in the works, post-COVID, in-person actual events. So people are moving forward. So that's very positive, right? I'm really happy that we're finally going to get to that point, and that'll help us all economically to get out and celebrate locally. So now I have some other news. Have some economic impact to the Township of Clearview as a result of a phone call I received this morning, and supplemental some emails that have been received, and a press release from one of our major employers came today, which surprised me and was shocking to all of us. to learn that Peace Naturals has decided they are going to be folding up and closing the Peace Naturals campus here in Stayner. Very, very disappointing news. Shocking, because we didn't know about it until reading the press release. But anyway, I printed off a couple of quotes that I'd like to just read out for you guys, as well as to put it on this record here. There's John Ferguson is joining us. Hello, John. So from Kronos, who is the parent company, in their press release, they said, hello, John. They said, following careful evaluation of the company's global supply chain, the company has announced today the planned exit of its Peace Naturals campus in Stayner, Ontario, Canada. And then it says the Toronto-based company said that it will continue to operate the Peace Naturals campus with a phased reduction and transition of activities with a planned exit by the end of 2022. So that's very unfortunate news for us in Clearview Township. It does say that they're closing up their shop. What it does also say is that there's an opportunity now, because there's a very significant industrial facility right here in our township that obviously is going to be available for a future business opportunity. So I would encourage all of you who have interest in talking to contacts that to share this news, because you know, with one closure of a door, there's always another door opening. It's very unfortunate, and they were and continue to be a good company in our town, but obviously a decision was made by their global owner that they're exiting their Peace Naturals campus here in Stayner. Very unfortunate, bit of a shock to all of us for sure. I only learned about it today at about 10:30, and it's been a full afternoon of worrying about it, to be honest, as your mayor, and I'm not sure where this is going to go next, but it seemed very timely. We were having our Economic Development Committee meeting today, so I thought I wanted to make sure you guys as EDC members heard about it, if you hadn't heard about it already. So those are the items underneath the new business section. Is there anybody with any questions or anything else you'd like to bring up underneath new business? Bill, go ahead.
I'm just going to throw this out, and you can tell me that doesn't apply to go away, and that's fine. I will. However, the music in the park.
Yes.
Thursday night, June, July, and August. I see Kelly nodding her head. She knows what I'm going to ask for. John Squire Sr., who's chaired it for years, is no longer doing it, and the chamber is no longer doing it, and that kind of left the music out in left field. And unfortunately, or fortunately, your favorite Kinsman Club was out in left field, and we picked it up. So we're going to do it.
Congratulations and thank you.
But I drew the short straw. I got to run it for the first year.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bill, I'll stand up and volunteer to help you with that, because I think it's a fantastic program.
But with
I'm very grateful to the Chamber of Commerce for all their years of running the program. And I know that they had some sponsorship from TD Bank over the years that also supported the music in the park. So to have volunteers like you guys at the Kinsman step up, Bill, that's it's encouraging news. Thank you. You've made my day, considering the other news I've had all day. So
well, there you go.
Yeah.
So that brings me to my next point. TD is no longer sponsoring it.
Okay.
They had a program, I think it was $2,500 or $3,000, and it's gone by the wayside. I guess the banking business is tough these days. They can't afford it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just going to throw this out. I threw it out to Amanda, and she didn't know. But would this committee consider being a sponsor for one of the nights for the music in the park?
That's a very good opportunity. We can discuss that. Yeah. How about I take that, John Ferguson? Nice to see you. Welcome. Would you take that consideration and report back to the committee if that's a possibility?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. We'll find a way where it's promoting. Somehow we call it promote the Uptown Business Night or something, and we can use some promotional money in that regard, I believe. So let's see if we can do that.
Okay. So I tell you what, Bill, we'll let John take that and bring it to this committee for a recommendation.
Sure.
All right. Barry, did you want to jump in? Go ahead.
I did. I don't think it's necessary for us to get a report back. I think us as the Economic Development Committee can simply put forth a motion to sponsor it and pass that motion and the funds come out of the Economic Development Committee reserve that we have. I don't think we need to do a report on it. Report's just going to delay and things like that. Just is my
Okay,
feeling.
I hear you.
And I'd be happy to put forth that motion that we sponsor it and just move ahead.
Okay, I fully support what you're saying. My caution would be that we don't know what the value is. We don't know how much they're asking for. We don't know how much they need. So
I thought it
I'm
was
comfortable. I'm
2,500.
comfortable with getting an idea as to what
Right.
the value might be. Yeah,
$500.
between 2 and 5. so let's find out how much it is before we do it. But I support you, and I'll second the motion with you, Barry. But the reality is, we need to know what we're asking for.
Right. Oh, I was under the impression it was $2,500 they were looking for.
That's what the TD was sponsoring, and they've dropped out.
Okay, so
Okay.
you got to come back to us with a dollar figure.
Okay.
If I may suggest, and then we may be able to get this on the next agenda before for the next council meeting. As it relates to sort of referring it to me, I can put it on the agenda. Well, the one thing I'd like to say, whatever the request is that comes from you, Bill, you
Yeah.
should say, it should be associated with promoting Clearview Township. That's what our promotional money can be used for. So have that in your request somewhere and as a part of your theme, perhaps. And then if you're asking between, $2,000 and $5,000, we can support something that is promoting Clearview Township.
Okay. I'll get something in writing. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
That's the steps you got to do. Good job. Bill, congratulations, and thank you to the Kinsmen once again for helping out our community.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Like, we were very concerned about losing a volunteer. We had a discussion about what's the municipality's role, and we want to support our volunteers. We don't want to replace them. And when you lose a volunteer, you lose a lot, because just imagine if this wasn't going on, if this individual, he's done it for years, and they're finally saying, they want to hand the torch off, but you got to have somebody coming in behind them. If you don't, it's a big loss. So very, very good to hear that, Bill. Very pleased to hear that, frankly. Thank you.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Bill. That's great, because we were asking all of our members if somebody could take it on, and just nobody was willing to step up. Our board are so busy with our own projects. So I am so happy you took that over. It'll be great. John Senior did mention that he's got a lot of information willing to share with whoever is willing to pick it up. So he says he's willing to be a resource, but he doesn't want to be responsible anymore. Retirement's wonderful.
And John has been very good. I've got all his files, and you can bet they're in pristine condition. So yeah, and he was at a Kinsman meeting last week, and he offered to he won't share it, but he'll give us his full support. So
Excellent. Thank
That's
you.
so great. That actually speaks, John Ferguson, that speaks to what you just said. If a volunteer is going to retire, if they're willing to create a transition to the next group, then that's a positive thing. So good for them. That's the way it's supposed to get done. Great stuff. Anybody else with any other business for the meeting? Yes. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi. Last meeting we had discussed having an offsite between for this committee, and I know that we had a couple of dates thrown around. What did we settle on?
I don't know. Did we settle on anything? Jen Kane Percy.
So after our meeting, we had a discussion, and John just thought it would be better if he met with the team, like internally first. So that's the senior management meeting that John's going to host on the 23rd. He thought best to just get the information from the management and then come back to the committee with an update.
Sounds good. Thanks.
So
Thanks,
that's
Jen.
happening this month, so it could be as early as the first week of next month. How's that sound? Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, and Kelly Kramer, go ahead.
I've got one more piece of news, I guess. Our AGM for the chamber is on March 16th. I am stepping down as president. We're hoping we've got a new president coming in. I've offered to stay on as a director, and that way I can still continue to keep the website up, because that's where I spend a lot of my time as a web developer. So the question is, am I still welcome at this meeting, or would you like the new president? I don't mind staying on and because I do talk to the businesses and I'm out walking the streets. So
Kelly, my inclination would be that you need to discuss that with your Clearview Chamber. If
Okay,
the
so-
chamber are comfortable having you as their representative, then that's good. Then I think that's how we need to do it. So leave it up to them, and you're welcome.
Oh,
You know,
okay, good.
you are welcome here. Of course you are, anybody. But my point is, if you're going to represent the chamber, you get them to acknowledge that you're the representative for sure.
Yes. Okay, no problem. I'll go for it from that angle. I just wanted to know how you would deal with it on our side here.
Okay. No, that's totally good with me. Yeah, and
You
congratulations
could pass
on-
on. We're happy that you would stay on, and then they can decide from there, perhaps. Sorry,
Yeah.
Worship, didn't mean to interrupt.
no problem. No, I was just going to say, and congratulations on your term as president. You've been there for a while, so good for you.
Thank you.
All right. How about anybody else? Nothing further? All right. Well, it's been a long day for me, and I have been thinking about nothing but economic development since 10:30 this morning when I got that news. That's all I've been thinking of. So it's a difficult one for me. But thank you for your support and for attending tonight's meeting. And I look forward to seeing you all on the 1st of April. And as things progress, both John Ferguson's meeting that he has with the staff, as well as anything further, Jen, Kate, and Percy will always reach out to all members and make sure that they're kept updated. And as always, my phone is always available. Give me a call anytime. All right, guys, next meeting is April 5th. And so I'll call for the adjournment unless there's nothing further. All right, resolve that the Economic Development Advisory Committee adjourn and the time is 5:34 p.m. Anybody for the mover and seconder? That'd be Barry and Bill and all those in favor. Thank you. Have an awesome evening, guys. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.